Welcome to the Whitetail Legacy Podcast.
And we get the back view of him. And I mean, it's just a mega.
52 yards is a long shot. Magnum PI, what we named him. No idea.
Just a magnum.
Yeah, just a magnum.
Come on cam last year, we said probably 150, mid 150.
Yeah.
Same doe from the morning come out with that 9-pointer.
Here steps out this 90-inch 8-pointer. You're like,
I'm like, okay, well, there's still a buck back there grunting.
Yeah.
And then out steps like another 90-inch 8-pointer. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm like, deer, right there.
Yeah, like
and he's already
yards.
30 yards.
Yeah.
He was literally 5 yards from the base of the tree. Could have been, had a buck down at 1:40 in the afternoon, back there deep on public. 3 does come out pretty early. It was like 245, 24-yard shot, sent the combat veteran, and I tell you what, man, dude, it just smoked. We always get so jacked up when the other person kills. It's just almost like we got it done.
Yeah. And when you killed that doe, I was like, hell yeah, man.
And we come down here to Missouri.
I asked Comey one more time. I'm like, is it a good buck? And he goes, yeah, real good, solid buck. I'm like, all right, boom. And the deer just drops. Sure. Super special to me.
Whitetail Legacy Podcast, bringing you back to the hunt and leaving a legacy. Baller Rut.
This is the Whitetail Legacy Podcast, and you're listening to This Ain't No Picnic. 16 days straight.
This is day one.
This is day one. It's actually 17 days.
Pumped as hell.
We made it 17 days. 16 in an evening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Give me a little
guys.
bonus.
Oh, you fired up for this? We are incredibly fired up over here. We ain't even got a beer cracking with this fired up.
We're just ready to go.
Yeah. All right. Well, we had an awesome hunt tonight, and we're gonna get into that. But we're gonna let you guys dig into who this is made possible by, and it's Exodus Trail Cameras, guys. We reached out to them, and they want to be part of this, and we couldn't be more happy. And the freaking render is on fire right now, and Magnum is on the render,
On it.
where he's supposed to be.
Going in and coming out.
Going in the Magnum pinch, going out the Magnum pinch. And
I forgot we were going to call that.
Yeah, and he's 10 yards from the tree stand, and he was 38 minutes past shooting light last night.
Yep, and the cool thing about that, with him being on the render, is we've been kind of documenting all of our trail camera strategies for the summertime for Exodus, and it's going to be cool to hopefully see everything put together, and that final move that maybe, let us know that Magnum's there, and it's all documented already, so that's cool.
Yeah, homie went in there, made the move, and he's there, man. He's going out and going into bedding.
Just when you start losing hope, you're like, oh, okay, we're back in the game.
We're back in the game.
Doing what he should be doing.
He's right where he's supposed to be. The guys didn't kill him, so.
Yeah, so this week, Magnum on the render 2 different days.
Yeah, so super jacked about that. Yeah, so if you guys haven't got an Exodus trail cam or a render and you're looking to get a cell cam, render's super solid. I wish we had about 6 of those right now. We would have left one there tonight.
Yeah.
So getting into tonight, so it's day 1 of 16 and a half days straight. It sounds like a rehab or something. It's pretty much going to need rehab.
Yeah, I was
after
saying
this.
by the end of this, it's going to be.
But yeah, so we went into a piece of public that we know very little about. I hunted it in the past, and I don't know how deep we were. Quite a ways.
Yeah, we were. Yeah.
And we were close to, ag on private and really thick creek bottom bedding on private. And we went in there. Basically, I had this spot mapped out to where I thought we could potentially get onto some does. It's the doe game right now. And we went in there. We hit a huge community scrape right off the rip. Absolute giant, like car hood size. And then, I looked for tracks in it. A lot of yearling, a lot of doe tracks. So we cruised past that. And then we hit a scrape with blood in it. It's the weirdest thing. We hit this scrape, and I'm like, homie, look at that. And there's this blood.
Yeah, Cody's like, dude, check this out. I'm like, okay, there's a scrape. Hey, there's another one over there. And I think there's a older one over there. And then I come back to it, I'm like, Oh, you're talking about the blood.
Yeah, there's blood in the scrape. Not like a little bit of blood either, like quite a bit of blood.
And it was pretty damn fresh.
Yeah. So I don't know if a buck got like gored or someone shot one and lost it and he was working the scrape, but it was like he was there for a while.
It was there today.
Yeah, he was there today.
Yeah.
Last night or today. You know what I mean? One of the two, but then we worked past that and we seen a guy's tree stand back there and a camera.
Yeah.
Where we were going to set up. And we were like, well, we'll just go a little deeper, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and,
we were getting in the hot zone.
Yeah, where we were kind of, going a little slower, getting in the idea. I had two marks. I had that ridge marked and the next ridge marked.
Yep.
So we went to the next ridge, bunch of scrapes, bunch of tree scrapes, and one really good ground scrape that it was really windy yesterday and there was no leaves in this scrape. So we knew that it had been worked from last night, today, this morning, set up. And really good setup tonight. We did some switching with our stands. We tightened some stuff up on them, and I think it went really good. We used 4 minis and 2 Lone Wolf full-length sticks, and Helmy just kept giving me sticks. So I just kept hanging.
I was like, he packed them all. I was like, I'm gonna get my ass chewed if I don't hand him all the sticks that he packed.
I got up there,
packing this shit in for no reason.
I got up there. I'm like, man, we're high as shit right now.
But one thing that I did not like about that is the swapping of the full length to the mini, just because when on the full length you're dedicated to one side.
Yeah.
You're a right or you're a left.
Yeah.
And then if you're coming down off the double, like I think
the
you
only
step
thing I'm
different
gonna own is doubles from now on.
Yeah,
I'll never own a single step again.
Yeah.
It's just too nice to have both steps.
Yeah, I was just telling the snap group yesterday, like using your double minis.
Yeah.
I'm going to get some,
Yeah.
and I'm going to have some steel cable aiders.
Yeah.
And because I seen one set up on Facebook, because I don't really like the idea of the aiders, but I seen a guy had a set up on Facebook, and they were sticking out like 8 to 10 inches from the tree, looking real solid. Because my thing is just like being safe, trying to get your foot in there in the dark.
Yeah.
In the morning or in the evening. And I just feel like, some of these other aiders aren't going to be that stable. And that guy had it down to where I would at least give it a run, you know what I mean? So next year I'm probably going to be switching to the double steps.
Yeah, so maybe we should run the Lone Wolves on the bottom.
Yeah, just
instead of flip-flop.
Yeah, the flip-flop had my eyeballs all jacked up, dude.
Coming down tonight, I was like, okay, single step. I got a double coming, single. Got to have a good flashlight. That reminds me, I got to get batteries in that thing.
All right, yeah.
I got some inside, I think. But anyways, so we're set up, and we're kind of in this corner. The private's probably 70, 80, 90-ish yards away, and we can see a pretty good distance. And in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, the way this scrape licking branch is set up, the scrape's right at 20, the good scrape, you know what I mean? And we're thinking like, okay, bucks are going to be walking around, cruising, maybe looking for does. We were wrong about that in this area. So we're sitting there, of course, the day goes through. We don't see much. We're thinking, man, we don't know jack about this place. You know what I mean? So we're sitting there, and it's 15 minutes before shooting light's over, probably.
Yeah, it's getting real close.
And I told homie, I said, I just heard a grunt, and he's probably thinking like, dude, this guy is nuts.
But we need to mention that it is dead ass quiet.
Yeah, it is dead
night.
quiet. Yeah, like we're like, man, we made a lot of noise coming in here, and then I heard another grunt. I'm like, all right, I freaking heard this one. This is legit right here. So I'm like, I heard a grunt. It's up on top of this ridge. And then homie's like, oh, over here. I can hear something running. And then the next 10 minutes are utter chaos. Here comes a doe, full-blown running. And here's a shooter behind her grunting his ass off every step, just like full chasing mode. Bah, bah, bah. And I'm like, oh, and they're coming right at us, right where we were going to set up before we just crest over the edge. Because last time we were out there, we needed to be over the edge.
Right.
So
down off the hill, down by the creek is where we needed to be.
So that's where we went to today. Now, this time we need to be on top of the ridge. And we almost set up there. I was like, what do you think? And then I went a little further. I'm like, let's sit right here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't really see them coming off up there like that and staying up there like they did. I figured it would be more like it was the last time.
Yeah.
Coming down out of the creek where it's thicker, working up like we thought. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So she come out. The buck behind her come out. Probably a really solid 3.5-year-old. 140 class, maybe a little bigger. Really solid frame on him. He runs over like 70 yards to the other side of the ridge. He's running all over the place. Another buck comes from the north or the south.
Yeah, because the one that was up there,
Yeah, he's chasing. And then another buck comes from the
north
and he comes in, and they're all over there. And I snort wheezed at this buck, and he's over there raking trees and breaking shit. Snort wheezed at him, grunted at him, doe bleated. He had that doe, and he was basically trying to keep those other bucks away and pin her down. And I'm 90% sure that I seen him mount her. Like, in my mind, I'm like, I didn't see that. But I'm almost positive that
he could have got up there and not done anything. You know?
I mean, he was on her for a little bit, you know what I mean? But it's hot.
I didn't see it, so I don't know.
It was, homie's like, I can't see anything. I can just hear him running all over the place.
When you go from the tiny viewing screen on these cameras to the real world, your eyeballs are messed up.
Yeah.
You can't see shit.
He's like, and of course, it's so late, you can't get any.
Oh, yeah. Camera light was gone 15 minutes before any of this even happened.
Any footage. So the buck comes back, the big one, and I'm like, man, I don't think I can shoot. Homie's like, you got 4 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm like, I look at my pen, I'm like, I can't shoot. You know what I mean? But he never did come in further than probably 65, 70, and really give us a good look at what he was. But the third buck that came in was a shooter also. So there's 2 shooters in there and a small buck with this doe.
Mm-hmm.
And the doe is definitely getting chased like she was hot as hell. I don't know.
I would say I didn't really hear her much once she got down there. Then I could just hear that buck because and then he was running off the mother buck. So I couldn't really hear what the hell that doe was doing or where she ended up going.
She was there on that ridge, and then they went kind of down and then circled back up. And then it sounded like he was coming right in.
Yeah. I was like, okay, he's getting to like 40 now. We should be able to start seeing an outline.
But no, couldn't. And then we hung in the tree for a long time there, and we were talking about it. And the wind's gonna be a little different tomorrow. But man, you got a hot doe in the area. You can't. Those scrapes. You got the deer coming off the ag. You can't really move it. So
I just want to kind of talk to that a little bit. We were sitting there. The wind's gonna be damn near completely opposite. And we're going to be hunting there in the morning. So we're talking about if we're going to move back up the hill where these deer come from, or if we're going to stay where we are now, or maybe go down to the creek. After just talking through it, we're like, let's just stay here, and that'll give us another hunt here in this area. We already know what we can see, what we can't see, and what we've seen tonight is not patternable.
No, it's just bucks chasing
three
does.
bucks chasing. You know what I mean? Like, that's not
coming from all different angles.
Somebody be like, all right, I seen him over here 6 times. I need to get over there. Like, it wasn't like that. It was just a random, doe's on the way to ag, runs across a buck path, buck bumps her.
Yeah.
She's like, oh shit, and then just boom, ends up in our lap, damn near. So now tomorrow, something dumb like that happens again. We're like, all right, we need to get up there, or fine tune for Sunday.
I feel like if a buck comes in there, all the scrapes and shit are on the downhill side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And your side of the tree, so the north side of the tree. So the wind is set up tomorrow for something to work that creek. It's gonna be money. If they work that creek back in from the ag and swoop up there and hit that scrape, it's gonna be 20-yard quartering shot and done. You know what I mean? Now, we were not expecting chasing like this early,
No.
first evening, you know what I mean? I'm like, we sat there, we didn't see anything, and I told homie, I said, right at dark, gonna be deer all over this mother.
And I had just hunted maybe, 100 yards, 120 yards south on the opposite ridge.
I think you're further
than that.
Yeah, probably 300.
Yeah, we did walk kind of far.
Yeah.
So I hunted basically in the same area, 2 ridges down on
Hella sign
Tuesday.
down there.
I don't get jacked up on sign very much, but I come in off the field and there is just giant rubs. I mean, there's probably 7-8 rubs within 50 yards of the field edge. I'm like, holy shit. One scrape in the middle of it, medium size. I mean, bigger than the one that we were hunting over, but not as big as the car hood one.
Yeah.
And I text Cody and I said, dude, I don't get jacked up on sign, but I am just on the edge of my seat right now. Like, something's
And that's
in here
about where
tearing
I
it up.
shot a buck Halloween night, the same piece, 5 or 6 years ago. You were really close to that. And we were just to the north of there tonight.
Yeah.
And the buck that I shot came from the north working south. So I feel like we're in the zone.
We're in the zone.
We're in the zone. And if something comes through and hits that area, working sign in the morning where you were hunting and then works our way, it's going to be money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the game plan. We left our stands in the same spot. We're kind of, like I said, we're off ag. We got really good creek bottom CRP bedding type area to the north of us and just a heavy timbered creek draw to the south of us. And that northwest wind is kind of blowing maybe a quarter of the ag field. You know what I mean? If you northwest, it's probably going to cut like a quarter of the ag off. Yeah. So if something's coming real late off that ag, chance of winning us. But I mean, you got all that other stuff. It's hard to make a move, and we have no past history here. We had past history 6 years ago. You know what I mean? But other than that,
most recent information.
Yeah, no, we got homie hunting there one time.
Yeah,
and then we hunted a completely other end of the property and had an encounter with a shooter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, half hour before we got down to, or before shooting that, I was like, well, there's 2 hunts here and there's no deer in this area. Like 2 hunts, 2 nights apart. Not even a doe, not even a spike, nothing. And then that's when Cody said, at dark, there's gonna be deer everywhere.
Yeah.
So I mean, you gotta just stick your hunt out and don't make a game plan too early, because we're already trying to game plan for the, if we're going to leave the shit in the tree, or, if we're going to a totally different area, kind of what the game plan was going to be. And we ended up just leaving it. So.
Yeah. Yeah, we ended up just leaving it in there. So that's the setup. The weather tomorrow, what's the weather going to be like?
No, I don't know.
You get the weather.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about what the deer are doing. That's what the purpose of this. So what we seen tonight was we seen hella chasing.
Legit
we seen
chasing.
2 shooter bucks, 3 or 4 year old class deer, and a younger deer grunting and chasing does. A doe. You know what I mean? So what is it?
Tomorrow, the morning's going to be 32 degrees, winds south at 15 to 25.
Well, that's even better.
Yeah.
Well, this completely changed the whole. Remember, I said it said northwest. It's switching to northwest. What time is it switching? It's like 9:30 or 10. What's the hourly say? Or is it going to stay south? Because that's perfect.
South is perfect.
That's what we needed. I'm even more jacked now.
South all day.
Okay, perfect.
Midnight tomorrow.
Midnight it switches.
Midnight and Halloween, going to November 1st is when it switches to northwest.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. So that's what. Okay. So I thought it switched tonight.
You must have looked.
I must have looked a day ahead. Well, we were in the tree game planning for a win. That's us right there. You know what I mean? But hey, this is better. It's gonna work. That's why we left the stuff there. We knew. But anyway, so what's the temp? You said 35.
32.
32 in south. Oh man,
it's gonna end up being 60.
32 in the morning though. It's gonna be fire.
Yeah, it's gonna be
crispy.
Should be pretty set.
It's gonna be crispy. I'm about to put a couple layers on.
So you said the deer were chasing, and then what else? I was sidetracked.
Yeah, I got sidetracked because I knew the wind was wrong. I wasn't waiting for that. But anyways, okay, the deer chasing. I'm not saying every buck's out there chasing. We seen how many does we see on the way home?
8.
8. No bucks with them.
No bucks.
Out in the ag fields. But where we were at, there's a hot doe, or a doe that's really close to being hot. So it'd be silly for us to pack the stands up and leave. So we're in there tomorrow. We know there's a hot doe in the area. We know where she was bedding.
Mm-hmm.
And we are in between the food and the bedding.
Yeah.
So if she comes back and goes in there, really good chance something behind her. You know what I mean? We just got to get him in shooting range. And that's something we were talking about. Like, the reason we schedule a vacation for now is because they're not running around like psychopaths and you can't stop them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tonight,
you would not have stopped that first. Not a chance.
No. You could have shot a flaming arrow at that thing and wouldn't even have cared. You know what I mean? But yeah, there's no chance. I snort wheezed at him. Everything you could possibly do to make it happen. But that's the update. Hope you guys enjoyed this. We're coming at you every day, in your ear holes, every day.
Yeah, I feel like we brought the fire on this one.
Yeah, I mean, there was a fire
had
hunt.
A damn good hunt.
Yeah, when we have a shit hunt, it's gonna be like it's trash out there.
We're hanging it up.
Yeah. Day 3, taking a break.
As far as the video goes for this, absolute trash. Like we said, it was dark. I'm trying to see. the only thing we got is probably some audio of Cody snort wheezing for sure. Me grunting. Other than that, it's dark.
Yeah.
And maybe a quick shadow of a deer running.
It's hard when there's 70 yards in the timber
I know.
chasing.
And it's already dark to begin with. But also, exciting news is we just want to let you guys know that Last Breath is going to be launching episode 1 of the video version of This Ain't No Picnic, 16 Days Straight on Public, tonight at 7 p.m. on their YouTube channel. So do not forget that. Grab a couple beers, hand out some candy, and be sure to check out episode 1 there.
Hell yeah. All right, guys, come back. Listen tomorrow. Maybe we'll have a buck down. Day 2. Here we go.